This is Lab 3 for InDesign, and we're going to talk about parent pages. There is a document called Parent InDesign Document, INDD, and we've talked a little bit before about the different formats that you can set up your document to look like. This is a document that has individual pages. So it doesn't have facing pages like you would see on a brochure where you have page 1 and 2 next to each other, like the inside front cover and then the next page. This is front back and then another front back. Or if it was slid into a menu holder and each page was didn't get printed on the back, that's when you would use individual pages. When it's pages next to each other, that's called a spread. So if I open a new file, new document, and you have all these choices, I usually go for print. If you're going to do anything in web or mobile that is not part of a brand, that you're using assets that are part of an InDesign file, this is probably not the correct program to use. This is mainly for printing. So most often, except for some exceptions, you would be using this in a print capacity. Change your units to inches. And then here's where you have the orientation, if it's tall or wide, portrait or landscape. And facing pages will give you that inside front cover and page 1 look, which helps design. So design-wise, you would want to have those pages as they appear in the finished product next to each other so you can design correctly. You do not set up things for the printer in printer spreads where you have like the cover and back cover on one side of the paper and then the inside front cover and the inside back cover on next to each other, and those get printed on one piece of paper and then folded and then stapled together with the other ones. That's called printer spreads. We do reader spreads where it's just as you are reading a book, and that would be the facing pages. Again, the primary text frame means you'd have a text box ready to go on each page. Let's add 8 pages. And there's some other complicated settings that you could have it start on different pages and all of that. You can add columns. Let's add 2 columns and have a 0.25 gutter, which is the space between them. And margins, so let's make this a little smaller. Don't go below 0.375 so that you're not getting important information too close to the edge. And then the bleed. In most cases, if you have a picture that's running to the edge of your paper, you want a little bit extra so when they cut it, there isn't a white edge between the picture and the edge of the paper. So if you have a little bit extra, this is 1/8 of an inch all the way around, when they cut it, they have a little bit of leeway in case it gets cut a little bit off because it's a mechanical process. So as you can see here, here's my 8 pages. This is the pages next to each other right here, and there's the columns, and you can start typing right away. They are linked, much like when we did the text in Illustrator where you have the little square with the plus. You can add some placeholder text, and you can see it's adding it completely throughout, and those are linked. And anytime you delete here, it'll shift everything. So once I decide, if I had a long document and I know what I want on each page, then I would copy and paste into a separate text box so that it won't move from that page. You can make a type change. You can see that little plus sign there. You can make a type change on page 2, and if it's not set up correctly, it can affect what goes on page 4. What you can do, let's say you want this to be connected, but you want all of this information to stay on the page, you would go to type and you would go insert break character. So this would be a column break if you wanted your information to stay in that column. This would be a page break. So anytime you would delete, it would still stay on this page. It wouldn't bring more text over. So if I deleted something right now, you can see it shifted from the next page. But if I put a page break under type, and there's all these different, if you wanted certain stuff in a column, the frame, the page break, all kinds of stuff. This is a little bit more advanced, but that helps keep the information on the page that you want it to. So those are this is what I discussed a little bit before about the parent page, where you can put objects, text, text boxes, something like that on this parent page. And you can create new parent pages, and then it would show up here and be more consistent. Okay, so let's get rid of that. So when you open this parent page file that's already set up, you can see there is no bleeds. I would probably add bleeds, but that's just me. We've gone over parent pages in the previous lessons. You can always go back and review that if you need to. You can also, do a lot with this properties, adding rulers. Now you do want to have your rulers up. Okay, and this is the rulers here, and it's under, I forget where, view rulers, I believe. I do Command R, and you can see them disappear. And what you're going to do for lining up your information, and this is true in Photoshop and Illustrator, you click and drag from the ruler, and now you have a guide so that you can make sure everything's, click on the ruler and drag this out, and you can see that everything's going to be, you have these guides that pop out. And you can go under grids and guides. You lock the guides so that you don't accidentally move them or delete them. You can clear the guides. So there's all kinds of stuff you can do here. You could add grids if you need to, just to help yourself stay in order and keep everything in order. You can also delete the pages, so you can practice a little bit here. You can just delete the page and everything else on it goes away as well. But we don't want to do that. You can do undo. So undo is up here under edit. And that is what you would need to do if you made a mistake. You go up to here and you can undo quite a bit. And let's see, you can make sure you have this status bar here. Again, go under Window, Workspace, and pick something else. Essentials means there's nothing at the top. Essentials Classic works, Digital Publishing works. So make sure you're playing around with this and get familiar with it. And I have gone over the parent page in the previous lesson. You can do columns and guides here. Here you can change that. Let's say you've decided you only want one column and you want your margins to change. This needs to be anchored. Okay, so let's say you want your margins to be like a 1/2 inch. You hit OK, and it will automatically update here. So that's where you find that information. Let's see. You can also go to the guides in the then rulers in this properties palette, and you can do different guides that you may need to help yourself. This is all to help yourself and make your life easier. And we'll move on to grouping content. So under tools, this is your tools. Okay, you can select items by click and drag like we do in Illustrator. And under object, you can arrange them, if there's something that needs to be moved forward or back, just like in Illustrator. And then you can also group them. So you can group this as a unit, and you can see it has this dashed line to let you know that there's items that are separate but put in this group. And then, of course, ungroup if you'd like. You can lock items. A lot of people lock items, and it's sort of annoying, but if I was checking over a file, but you may continually select it when you don't want to, and that might be when you want to lock an object. The best course of action is if you have something, let me unlock all on the spread. If you have text, don't have these text boxes like overlapping, because then you'll accidentally click on them. Try to keep that neat and orderly and keep it tight to where your text information. Don't have this overlap and then you're trying to click on this and you accidentally click on this. So keep it tight to your last line, but you don't want it to have a red box. That means you've gone too far. So you can change the page size under File Setup, Document Setup, and here it's here's the intent for print, and it'll give you some presets. You can change your facing pages if you'd like, and change your margin, and don't forget your bleed, and we can do that. You do it once, click somewhere else, and you can adjust the layout. Okay, so that's something that if you need to go back after opening your file and make some changes. Sometimes you might need it to be a different page size. I think we covered that as well. And, you can do under the options, let's see, you can add pages that are different sizes. It really doesn't happen very often that you have to add a page. You can also add pages up here. Insert pages, so you can edit. So if we go follow the instructions under the pages panel, here we are, and edit page size. Let's see, show hide, edit page size under the master page. So let's say I want that one changed to a custom size. Maybe I want it 3 by 3, and that's okay because we're just practicing. So you can do that. Let's say you have for some reason you're doing separate little posters and they're using the same content, and one's 11 by 17, one's 8.5 by 11. You can keep it in the same file, share the same resources, but then print them separately. Save page 1 as a PDF 11 by 17, and the other let's add a page. Let's just add a page. We've got that selected. We'll do a custom, and we'll make that, we'll do 11 by 17. 11 by 17. Okay, and you can see it's changed the size of it. So there is some use to it, especially if you have the same resource, same logo, same photo or something like that. You're just changing the format up a little bit. Just having it all in one file would make sense, but that doesn't happen very often. Next we will talk about adding fonts.